It's chaos. Foreign armies, fierce warlords, and deep tribal enmities. We've come to report on a road project worth $100 million. If completed, it will signal a great victory for this war-torn country. But failure could leave the project in the hands of the Taliban or the warlords, turning a prize asset into a highway to hell.
So, Major, you got a security team there?
We're heading up to Bagram now, to the Bagram airfield, which is the main American base here in Kabul. It's about an hour's drive north. We'll be embedding with US forces, who will show us a heavily guarded highway, now under construction. Running for 100 kilometers, it could be a strategic, economic and security lifeline for this war-torn country. It's a slow process. The military moves at its own speed. But we've made it to this big base at Salerno, in the southeast of the country, where we're put behind these massive barriers, designed to minimize the impact of incoming rockets. And here we sit. Day 3, still waiting, and as the American soldier put it so aptly, it's hurry, hurry, wait. But next morning, the waiting is over. We get the call.
6 o'clock in the morning, we're going to Gardain.
The road starts in Gardain, winds through the Hindu Kush mountains to Khost in the next province. It will link the neglected southeast and its people, the Zadran tribe, to Kabul in one direction and Pakistan in the other. It's a big base, a key staging area for US operations right throughout this insurgency-ridden part of the country. The Americans are friendly, quick to make us feel at home.
I'm not familiar with him. I'm sorry.
Next morning, it's an early start, and our patrol gets ready to leave.
Talk real fast, he says, like I always do. Yes.
Before we depart, we're given a rare glimpse inside the operations room, nerve center of the vast US military operation in the province. In this age of high-tech war, real-time video from unmanned drones beams back here 24 hours a day. And there's just been a contact, military jargon for an attack.
ADT received some small arms fire right up here.
Who did?
ADT.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, Roger. It was just west of...
It's Colonel Campbell.
Just west of Pacha Khan Zadran.
He's back. Holy shit, you better get the ship figured out.
This is the American commander, Lieutenant Colonel Rob Campbell.
In this operations center here, when contact gets called up like that, we can do a number of things. I can call troops in contact and get some Air Force aircraft on top of it, attack aviation on top of it, send a QRF out, quick reaction force to go help bail them out, lots of different things. But we make a quick assessment as to what we got going on, and then we make those calls, whether we bring in those assets. Let me talk to you about what we're going to do this morning. We'll leave out of here and we're going to ride down Route Utah. Now, Route Utah is the KG Pass, okay, the Coast Gardez Road. Starts here in Gardez and goes all the way down into Host, which is right down in here. Okay, a road encompasses the whole thing. As you see the map's darker here, those are your mountainous areas, all right? Very, very difficult terrain, easier for the enemy to operate in. Very dangerous to my forces because you don't get a lot of standoff as far as weapon systems and your visual on what the enemy might be doing. So you own this road and you really own the passage into the gateway into Host. So that's what's significant about the KG Pass. So What I do as a commander is I get out on that road as much as I can to see the progress of it as they're getting it paved, and to visit with my commanders and get a really true on-the-ground assessment of what's happening. Okay, now that's just meeting with my people. What I also try and do is I try and meet with the locals as I go down through there. Yeah, I'm going to put my stuff on here. Unfortunately, I can't go out the gate unless I've got all my gear on, so it's part of my whole ritual here to get ready. Right now, my men are outside with my TAC, which is my mobile command post. This is good gear. It works. It's tested. I've come a long way with it.
Report us from soon as we hit the narrows, and we...
Colonel Campbell's men are almost ready to roll.
Freaking, we have 5 targets planned for the 105s. Anybody got any questions? Oh, hell no. This ain't Paradise. I want to know where the fuck Paradise is.
Everybody knows what truck they're on right now? Everybody's good on a truck?
We hunker inside these new armored vehicles, worth $1 million apiece, to drive to the construction site. It takes about an hour. Wary of attacks, the soldiers scour the ridgelines.
We got a security team there?
Yeah. So, Major. Oh yeah, we've had attacks from those hills over there. When we go up over the pass, we've had attacks on the mountain range to the far side over there. They've operated from as well.
The project is a massive multinational exercise funded by the US. The asphalt is shipped in from South Korea, and there are guards from South Africa and Romania, Gurkhas too. And much to the anger of some Pakistan-friendly locals, one of the main contractors is an Indian company.
Mostly Indian, yeah, and then there is a lot of subcontracting below that level to employ a lot of the locals here that live in the area.
When completed, the road will shorten the route used to bring supplies in for the nearly 100,000 international forces here.
An American officer made the point to me yesterday that that strip is the 21st century as an engineering project. And he said to me, walk a few meters off the road, and he said, you're back in biblical times.
Next we thump along, up the mountain towards the famous Satikandau Pass, the start of the most treacherous part of the road building. In 1987, the Soviet Union threw its military might into a battle here. The Mujahideen, with American arms and money, held the pass for almost a decade before Moscow snatched control, for just 12 days. The rugged terrain also poses problems for Colonel Campbell.
Last year, this was a trouble spot for us because, you can see if you're here, but you're not down there around the corner, the enemy's got you. You can't see what he's doing. He can set up ambushes and do things. So the unit before me built that base Dicey. And frankly, it was built where an old Mujahideen strong point was when they fought the Soviets. You'll see some of the caves and whatnot that the Mujahideen used to hide some of their equipment when they fought against the Soviet Union.
Up here, the road is being pushed around hairpin bends and literally around the locals. And notwithstanding the trucks and their precious timber cargo, a moneymaker for the locals, a cause of anxiety for the Americans who wonder what's buried under the load.
Keep him going, keep him going.
Afghanistan's history is writ large here. Aside from the failed Soviet occupation, the province and the road are contested by 2 warlords, each with his own private militia. Jalallulidin Haqqani, a key Taliban leader who directs ferocious attacks against the international forces. And this man, Pacha Khan Zadran, filmed by Dateline in 2003. Pacha Khan has a shady past, switching allegiances, double-crossing at will. But for now, says he supports President Hamid Karzai. But that's an interesting dynamic, isn't it? That for
Pacha Khan side of the Zadran, the road means business.
Yes.
For Haqqani, it's about diminishing his sense of his control of the district, the region.
Right. Yep.
So it's not surprising they've fallen out.
Well, it's a government success. It's an ANSF success. It opens those lines of communication and lines of commerce.
On this visit, we find Pacha Khan in hospital following a hernia operation. The two warlords may have fought the Russians together, but now are bitter rivals. Does he expect that Haqqani will try to kill him again?
Yeah, he will do that again and again.
Like the rest who perpetrated electoral fraud on a grand scale, this gnarled warlord brushes aside the torrent of criticism over the recent elections. So what priced democracy in Afghanistan? He tells me he organized Paktia province to vote for Hamid Karzai. Nevertheless, he says he's been denied his warlord's right to a ministry. But what Pacha Khan really wants is the security contract for the KG road, so he can return to his old revenue raiser of extorting tolls at gunpoint the length of the highway. He complains too that his province and people are neglected by Karzai and Kabul.
Typically find is your hotels are on the right side over here.
Yeah.
And then all of your produce.
This is Gurda Sarai. The new road cuts straight through the village. But first, this retaining wall has been built to stop it falling into the river. The bazaar has to be moved out of the way, which requires delicate diplomacy by the American colonel if he is to deny the Taliban a propaganda point.
Is the enemy bothering you here?
This may be true, but truth is relative, and here, Taliban threats are real. A new road will provide a classic counterinsurgency mix of jobs and economic activity. But the colonel is under no illusion that the Taliban have eyes everywhere.
Yep, probably sitting right here right now watching us. But he can't do anything. I mean, we're too powerful of a force. They can sit and watch us all day long. It really, what can they do to influence us, you know, is very minimal, I think.
And what about suicide bombers?
They're here, you bet, they are. You know, the problem with a suicide bomber in this area right here is, you know, they'll turn the populace against him. If he's going to blow himself up in a bazaar where the people are, then the people will turn against him. So, you know, it's a difficult position for the Taliban.
Where you live, where do you see a lot of your customers?
The locals talk to the Americans, but they talk to the Taliban too. 3 local elders, who the Americans suspect are two-timing, are kept under constant U.S. surveillance.
What's the matter? You have car troubles?
It's tricky, but I was told one of them might simply disappear from the village. The Americans are thinking of arresting him. We couldn't film him, but I managed these photos. As the soldiers get ready for another day on the road, Campbell is inside, meeting with one of the 3 suspected tribal elders, Mullah Haji Sangin. But the lanky American is deferential to the mullah.
We did some briefings with my men to make sure they better understand Ramadan period and to make sure that they understand what your people are going through, and the army and the police too during Ramadan. I hope that we do respect it, but please say something. Please speak up if you see something that doesn't look right with my coalition forces out there, okay?
No.
Then a remarkable exchange. The colonel makes a plea from the heart to save the lives of his men and the locals.
I want to be focused on the people. I don't want to be focused on the enemy. I don't want to be up on top of mountaintops. I want to be in the villages where it counts, where it matters most with your people. You know, the enemy comes here in the summer and they go away in the winter when the weather comes in. But the government stays, we stay, you stay. We're all here together the whole time. I know that you cannot physically stop the enemy from coming into this area. I realize that. But what I want to do is I want to create a place where the enemy are not welcome.
That's the truth, and
I realize I put you in a very difficult position, but I do ask for your help. I ask for your help trying to help us find out where the enemy are. I ask for your help in talking to your people to ensure that they don't support the enemy when they come down to get supplies before they go back up to the mountains. Then every year when the enemy comes back, they're going to find a place that they are less and less welcome.
Will Haji Sangin help to chase down the Taliban? It demands a response, but the wily elder ignores it. Instead, he makes an ill-disguised bid to get an American-supplied hydroelectric plant for his own village. The colonel knows the game that's being played, and for now his priority is the road. In a flash, we see the very different perspectives on rebuilding this country.
I want to be smart about development. I don't want to put a whole bunch of projects down here and not be able to manage them and make sure that they are done properly. If we do too many, we lose our ability to make sure that they're built properly and they function properly and they're really truly delivering to the people.
Some of the colonel's advisors believe the mullah, and half of Afghanistan, wants to gouge the international community for whatever he can get. And despite his seeming affinity with the colonel, he and his countrymen are biding their time to see who'll be the victor in this long-running war. Outside, Campbell confides that he joined the army to kill people, not to sit in meetings with the likes of Haji Sangin.
I joined to close with and destroy the enemy. I'm an infantry officer. That's what I do. That is the basic bare bones nuts and bolts of why a soldier comes into the army. He's trained to close with and destroy the enemy and kill them. That's the war that we want, okay? But it ain't the war that we have, all right? What we have here in Afghanistan is a counterinsurgency, okay? And a counterinsurgency is not fought by going out and killing people all the time and doing nothing but killing people. A counterinsurgency is fought and won by focusing on the people. That is the center of gravity.
Focus, yes, and at times it's through the sights of a weapon.
You know, I think that in my 6 months here, my forces have killed somewhere in the range of maybe 150, 200 fighters, okay?
Great. All right. Let's roll. Okay.
Going out live. Come back the same. Works every time.
Bouncing on down the road, it strikes me there is a distinct gap between the rhetoric I just heard and the reality of this war. Even the Americans concede it's going badly for them. Critics say the last 8 years have been wasted. Today the road is peaceful enough, but 24 hours later, a bomb kills a truck driver. A police station comes under attack. The mass movement of Taliban fighters is reported, and their commanders are on the move in Girda Sarai, issuing orders not to cooperate with the Americans. Soon we come to a halt. The men who are paid to secure the highway are sorting out a problem.
It's an argument amongst the security force. But they're solving it through peace. You don't hear any gunfire. That's a good thing.
Shining in the light of your glory, pour out your power and love.
Back at the base in Gardez, this scene caps off an almost surreal assignment. From bearded mullahs in the peaks of the Satikandau Pass to this.
Blessed be the Lord. His kindness did wonders for me in this time of distress. When I was frightened, I said, I perished before your eyes, but you listened to
It would be easy to pen a cliche that America's prayers aren't being answered in Afghanistan. But the reality is, these soldiers are fighting and dying in ever-increasing numbers in a war that has lost direction.
Holy, 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 I want to see.
As the Apache attack helicopters fly off on yet another mission, we're going back to Kabul. While the international community questions its commitment to this war, the Taliban grows stronger in these mountains and presses its advantage. Meanwhile, the locals sit on the fence. There's no love for the Taliban, but they don't feel loved enough by the Americans either. Will Washington send more troops and resources? Will it be enough to properly protect them and their battered country? When the equation is put like that, the Taliban is winning.